All right, all right, all right. Welcome to this episode of Warrior Week Parables from the Pit. My guest today is my friend and athlete, national and international athlete, Christian Lucero. Welcome, man.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me. This was fun. Got a little workout in. I say this was fun like it's over, but we've fucking been in this thing for 2.5 hours training.
Oh, dude. All right, so we just finished the workout, and number one, feel great. Number two, tons of fucking lesson inside of that workout that I want to kind of talk about and tie it into the story of why you're here, why we're talking. And so I want to start it off. You haven't graduated Warrior Week, but you're here on the podcast because you earned the right to sit on that seat, and I'll tell just the story and how it is, right? I've always picked heroes in an area of my life, right? Whether that be spiritual teachers and heroes, physical, business, and as well as parenting and being a dad and husband. I've picked my heroes close to me, meaning that I was never the type that would go and pick an idol that was so far from me that I couldn't reach, so that the only the only guidance I could have from that was through movies or books. And so I've always picked up my heroes to kind of be close to me, right? And so when it comes to the body and athletes, I've picked my heroes. You're one of my hero. Coach Max is one of my hero. Jesse is one of my hero. Luca Hosevar is one of my hero. Aaron is one of my hero. And like, these guys are guys that I got to know over the time, and I got to witness the passion and the actual fucking work inside of that area and dominating. So the reason why you're here is kind of to tell the hero's journey, right? And although on the outside it may look like you're crushing at the body game, but in order to crush in that area, in order to successfully be a source of inspiration, dude, you're gonna have to carry all the other areas too, right? So you're gonna have to carry the business mind. You're gonna have to carry the spiritual side. You're gonna have to carry the commitment inside of a relationship as a husband and eventually as a future dad.
Yep. Yes. Hopefully, sooner than later.
So,
I don't know though. The corona is kind of putting a damper in all that shit.
Yeah, Corona's gonna set you up, bro.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that concept. Like, what is it? What do you see in that, man? Just selecting your heroes that are your local heroes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think growing up and on this journey, you always have to have somebody that you kind of look up to. I always am careful about idolizing people and seeing them for not these larger than life people, but appreciating them for the things that they do right, appreciating the things that I admire about them and the things that I want to emulate in my life. And so taking different pieces of strength and conditioning coaches or other fellow athletes that I played with, or professional athletes that you look up to, and you see their mentality, you see their mindset, you see their work ethic, and people like that, and kind of taking the best of everybody and absorbing that and emulating that in your own practices. And so I know one of my heroes, so to speak, was a guy that I had on my podcast last week that you were talking about, Rudy Reyes. He's one of the guys that I got to train with early on in my career and in my sports journey, that I loved his philosophies on of work ethic, of mind, body, spirit, being beyond what you do in the gym or what you do on the field, it going into how you do everything, how you do, your family life, your schoolwork, your the things that are important in your life, and doing those all to the best of your ability, and letting that carry over, and just being obsessed with that drive of excellence in what you do, taking pride in everything that you do. Awesome. So that would be huge thing that I've been able to emulate and take those things. He's just one of the examples off the top of my head, and be able to be like, this is the kind of things that I want to have as staples in my character and in my mindset and in my journey. And for those long days or those long workouts or whatever it is, you just did a a crushing day at work and you're going home to the kids and the family and you have to, you want to be there for them. You want to put on a good face for them and you want to be, everything for your family or your loved ones or your kids. It's like those are the things and the mindsets and the things you're going to key on when the times get rough, when you're in the middle of the shit and you don't feel like you can go anymore. You got to be like, turn to that and say, what have I learned? What am I going to be about? This is one of those times when I have a chance to emulate something great or fall apart. What am I going to do?
Beautiful. Hey man, let's go ahead and give a background to our audience. Dude, our audience is just dudes.
Yeah,
So
what's up, dudes?
Let's go back.
No women?
No women. Well, I mean, maybe, but I don't know.
You don't let the women subscribe to your podcast?
Yeah. It's like, no, you can't.
Yeah.
No, they may be, but our, majority of the audience are just dudes. And the reality is that this has been the game of Wake Up Warrior, and at least my game inside of Wake Up Warrior is just train dudes because of one common factor, our penis.
Yeah.
Other than that,
at least we hope.
Yeah, at least we hope, right? So the idea is the following: is what can you give us like as a background, like just and it's okay to fucking say I, because that's the whole fucking point of this is to recognize who you are. And this show is all about fucking ownership. It's not about playing small. Don't give a fuck. So if you want to say, I won this, fuck yeah, you did it. You won and you have to fucking own it. So give us a background on who Lucero is today, man.
So I am a professional CrossFit athlete. I think that's the best thing that wraps up what I do. I do professional fitness for a living. Coming from a background of sports and martial arts my whole life. I had always felt that there was something bigger that I was here to do, whether it was, I never wanted to be stuck in an office or pinholed in a job where I was in a pinnacle doing somebody else's work from 9 to 5, making somebody else look good. I always felt like I had more of something to offer to, the people around me, my family, and the world, honestly. So, from a very young age, I started kind of tailoring and being mentored into this role as an athlete. And I didn't know what that looked like. And at one point it was football. Football was one of my favorite sports. And then it was I pivoted from that after high school to fighting and mixed martial arts. And then shortly after that, I pivoted to CrossFit and found that and really found a great stride in that and a background in that I already had and was able to take advantage of some of the gifts that I had. But I would wrap it all up in the terms of, I wasn't given anything. I wasn't gifted super athleticism, super speed, super strength. I'm not a particularly large human being, and I've had to work and fight for every one of the accomplishments that I've made, every one of the positions I've made. I've started from the bottom and worked my way to a point of worldwide recognition in the sport of CrossFit and being one of the top guys in the world at what I do. And it's been just that obsession every day with, okay, what am I doing to get better? How am I getting better today? It's not looking at that huge mountain of, well, shit, my goal is to be the best in the world. My goal is to do this, to be great. It's what am I doing today? What are my daily goals? What is it that's going to make me in 5, 10, 20 years that and put me in that place? And it's that daily, day in and day out grind. It's, waking up and getting the proper nutrition. It's getting to bed at the right time. It's making all of those little choices that add up to those big moments and the ability to take advantage of those big moments. Because just because you're in the spot, you have a moment, doesn't mean you're going to be able to capitalize on it.
It's true.
And yeah.
And so one of the particular observations I had, hopefully this mic doesn't suck ass, but hello, I don't care.
I got you.
One of the observations that I had personally was I've been watching you for the past couple of years, and in particular, I think it was a couple of years, 3 years ago or 2 years ago, when you were in the regional games here in California, Southern California, Del Mar, I believe. And man, like that was a year. Like the whole CrossFit Costa Mesa was behind you, Coach Max, everybody. and I was watching you on TV day 1 or day 2, like progress for like, and I'm like, fuck, man, Lucero's gonna fucking make it, you know?
Yeah.
Lucero is making, and then I witnessed like an injury that just fucking showed literally out of nowhere, right? And
Well, I had been dealing with that.
oh, you have been dealing, okay.
Yeah, so I had actually injured that pec 3 weeks before the competition, and so we didn't even know if we were going to be able to compete
Oh shit.
and go through some of those workouts. So the fact that we were there, you know, I was you know, surprised, not surprised because we hadn't been putting in the work, but excited because, you know, we had been like, well, shit, we don't know. I had strained the pec in training, getting ready for the competition, and then we were like, how are we going to? We don't know how it's going to fare. It might, you know, go more and strain more during the event, and that's eventually what happened on the last day. But for 2 days, it was holding up. We were in first place.
Were you feeling the pain of it for the, or it wasn't showing anything?
No, we were taking care of it, and we were rehabbing it well by that point. And so,
all right, so let's talk about this, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, this is an important point. So this happened 3 weeks before the big event.
3 weeks
okay,
before.
So let's paint the so how long your ass has been working for that event?
I mean, you could say since I've my whole life, right? You could say I've been working my whole life for a moment where I can really show what I've been putting in, and
at that time that was a big moment.
At that time, that was a huge moment.
Huge, right? Because at that time, that was the peak. I know there's a new peak now, but at that time, that was the peak.
Yeah. Well, you had the CrossFit Open, which qualified you for the CrossFit Regionals, which were these super competitive once-a-year competitions that took you to that World Championship arena.
But that year was particular because the previous year you've gone up so high that you set your goal. You said, motherfucker, I'm actually gonna win this. I remember this. And from that point you worked even harder. Not saying you never worked, but that was a very special peak at that time. And so this injury happened during what exercise was it, do you know?
In the gym, it was a ring dip with a weight vest.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you ever had that, or this was the first
time?
time?
Yeah, I've strained my pec before.
Oh, you the same pec or some other ones?
It was shit. It's good because I don't even remember which side it was, but I believe it was the same side.
How does it feel? Is it like it just whenever you move your hand, it fucking hurts?
It literally feels like you're. So I'm going, and you literally feel like almost like somebody like punches you in the chest really hard, so you feel it like cramp almost. You feel feels like a cramp, and then you feel like you know how when you pull the thread on a sweater and it just like kind of unravels? That's what it feels like, is like a cramp, a jolt, and then almost an unraveling sensation.
So if
like
you push it, you could actually...
Yeah, so if you push through that, I believe you can actually, you know, tear it, which would cause surgery, you would need surgery for. So I strained it in training. I knew what it was immediately when it happened. I didn't know how bad I strained it, and
so what did you do? Did you calm down? Or
yeah, we backed off. We backed off. We iced it. Like I've strained it before, so it wasn't something that I was like, oh, let me try to push through this and make it worse, which I've done in the past.
Yeah.
So we iced it. We trained around it how we could, because you know there was still a ton of other events yet to be released in that regional, and we rehabbed it, and literally you feel it when anytime you push and engage that pec. And it's hard because you're like, okay, what can I do that doesn't pull on it? And so, you know, I was rehabbing with contrast bath, with stim, with soft tissue work, with acupuncture. We were obviously training the rest of the body as we could to get ready for the competition. And then slowly I was finally able to do a push-up the week of, and we barely attempted a few ring dips unassisted that week that we had to compete. And then
a week before competition.
The week of, yeah.
Knowing that there was going to be some kind of fucking movement that's going to require that, right?
Yeah, we knew the workouts of that weekend by that time. And
did it have some chest shit?
Yeah, the first day had ring dips. So that's what we were training for, is that. And it had so we basically did all the ring dips strict to prevent any of that like jolting.
Yeah.
And I broke it up in a lot of smaller sets, and I actually won that workout, because I hauled ass on the dumbbell.
All right, hold on. So again, okay. I've just we just worked out and
Mhm.
I've just watched you. Like we did this thing, we did this crazy thing. But like, anyway, well, I'll just talk about the deadlift and the fucking
Mhm.
jump over burpee, right?
Yeah.
And first round, tack, 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 tack. Okay, second round, tack, 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 tack. This is the sound of
The bar hitting the ground.
and then
Yeah.
I'm going like, okay, tack, tack, like
Yeah.
one at a time.
Yeah.
And then I hear you go like 10 at a time. I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck. So like at one point, like.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, okay, at this point, my mind was, hey, man, we just finished an hour workout or whatever that was. My body's tired. I'm beat up. So I'm just going to grind through this. You were playing a different song of music, man. You were like, hey, man, I've already grinded through this like probably 15 years ago. I'm going to do I'm going to bring my best fucking version out. I'm going to bring the best athlete out of this. I'm rolling. Like there is no, so it's completely a different mindset, right? Two different people, two different mindset.
Same workout.
Yeah, same workout. Now I'm gonna come back to all this, right? Because I'm making a fucking point.
Mhm.
But I want to bring you back to the day before the biggest competition of your life. At that point, everything that you worked for all your life, and then you're going to that peak point. The shit happened. What's going on in your mind, man? Like what's happening in your mind?
I'm honestly more calm than I've ever been because there's no pressure. There's no expectation. There's just like kind of elation in the fact that we're here. We've worked hard. We've worked for this. We don't know how it's going to go, but we have an opportunity to see how it goes. You know,
Right,
we have
right,
an
right.
opportunity to test it and show it and say I were to get hurt again, say I were to not be able to complete it, say I were to not just do well in the workout. We've done, it's out of our control. We've done everything in our control. We've done the little pieces. We've, spent the time on the foam roller, in the ice bath, in the recovery, with nutrition, with sauna, with training, day in and day out. We've put in all the work. Now it's just time to let's see where we've got it. Let's let it show. Let's let it ride.
So that's one aspect. The other aspect is, hey, man, you got like the top and the best athletes of the world in there. It's not just, a bunch of dudes getting together for the weekend.
Yeah.
So, what's going on in your mind from a comparison perspective, right? We talked about this a little bit, how so many athletes allow, or so many like AKA warriors, or so many people allow the game of comparison to kind of be like the COVID-19 fucking virus of what's going on right now in their fucking brain, right? To paralyze them and put them on hold. So what was going on in your mind with that comparison? Was that even there, or the attitude? What was the attitude?
Yeah, I mean, the attitude in the competition is always to win. Like, we're there to win. We're not fucking around with my time, my family, my wife's time, my time, we're not fucking around with our daily time that we're putting into this goal to get second place or third place, or just be okay with, showing up. We're there to show out, to win. That's the goal. If you're not there for that goal, you're going to get run over, because there are people there that are for that goal. There are people there that are going to be willing to die for it, to die for the win.
To die for the win.
Yeah. And if you're not there for that, it's going to show.
Dude,
and so that's the mindset.
That's huge, right? Because like, if you're listening to this right now, right, and you kind of understand why Christian is here and why we're talking about in our conversation when it comes to living the Warriors way, and when it comes to doing the best that you can in harmony in all areas. Listen, man, you may suck ass inside of the game of the body, but the fact that you're putting some work to the best of your ability and you're creating some level of harmony in the other areas, that's what matters. So, but the attitude, you may suck ass, but the attitude is, I am willing to die for this, right?
And if that's your attitude, you're not going to suck ass for long. Like, everyone, even the best of the best, even the best in whatever game you want to say, Michael Jordan, which is off the top of my head because I'm watching that ESPN 60, that Last Dance shit on ESPN. And even he was cut from his high school basketball team. He was told, you're never going to play and be a good basketball player. And he said, fuck, I'm willing to die to show you that I will be. I'm willing to die to show you that that I'm going to be, to prove you wrong, to prove them wrong, to, avenge a wrongdoing I feel like was done to me, a disservice. And
That
that's it.
willingness.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna link that willingness to die. It's easily said here between words from me and you.
Yeah.
But that is actually linked to a state of a mind that I was talking before. It's a state of a mind where you, especially in physical state of the mind. I have not personally been there, and I'm still on the quest for that. But I've witnessed you being there, and witnessed Coach Max being there. So many. It's state of a mind when the pain kicks in, and you're like, you just have to go through this. Like, I know it's fucking painful, but my mind is going through this. I'm not allowing my body to slow down or feel. That's like I was sharing with you, is like a state of meditation that so many wants to arrive at that, but they're still like, nah, man, I haven't gone there. Once you taste that, once you go there, then you can link into this willingness to die, because there's this taste in your mouth of what that state is, what that mindset is. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's people try to find it in, meditation, ice bath, out of body experiences, drugs,
Himalaya, like mountains.
Yeah, the mountains, the spirit,
drugs, drugs.
Yeah, meth, and people like. There's a reason why people get hooked on meth, and it's not because it makes you look good. Like, I've never seen anyone do meth and their life get better or their teeth get better.
Right.
It fucks you up. But there's a reason why people are willing to die to get that drug. There's a reason. It's because of that feeling of elation where it takes them. And so there's that out of body experience that you feel that the body saying, or the mind saying, this hurts, I want to stop. Like you said, I've just been through an hour and a half of training already. Like, what does this matter? Like, I'm ready to stop. I'm ready to be done. And the excuses. And it's about quieting that mind, quieting those voices, and listening and letting the voices get louder that say, what if you were to pick it up again? What's going to happen? You don't know. And that's what we're here to find out. And that's what I'm trying to find out every day. And that's what pushes me every day is, this hurts. My body's suffering. I can't breathe. The pain, the lactic acid is building up. I don't know what's going to happen, but what if you pick it up again? What if you don't stop? What if you go again?
Yeah.
And then you find yourself breaking through a wall of a literal wall of painlessness, of that out of body experience, where you are continuing to move, continuing to put in work, but the pain is gone. The only feeling you have is the work and the numbers and the cadence.
So in state of meditation, okay, so this is a very important point, right? And unfortunately, a lot of athletes don't fucking talk about this because number one, they act like fucking meathead and they don't want to get into this topic. And number two, I don't think they have the openness to just discover other areas. So for so many years, you can look at this. You get people that are really good at one area, let's say athletes, and the state of the mind they achieve. And their job is like, or they become like, they're trying to teach this to others and say, you can achieve this. They'll do that. Or that this can be achieved in other areas of your life. I agree, it can be achieved, but it's an independent work. Just because you're there in the athlete, you get to that state of the mind, doesn't mean that you can easily actually do that in business or spirituality or inside of your relationship. I give you a specific example of that on me, right? When it comes to meditation, I know exactly what you're talking about, right? That state of mind where, like, I'm a witness to my body, I'm a witness to all my feelings, and my fucking stories and my thoughts. Like, literally, I am the fucking witness. The out-of-body experience is that I'm not my body, I'm not my emotion, I'm not my thoughts, I am the witness, I'm the soul, right? That happens to me, and it happened over and over inside of meditation. That state is what I'm seeking inside of the body, right? When I work out, and I'm yet not arrive at it, not even close at it, right? But I just witnessed that shit in there. I'm like, okay, this motherfucker is there. There's no way this is the body now. It's like literally, okay, you're the witness, and this thing is doing what it's doing. Right?
Yeah,
you just said it, man.
You're like a machine. It's like as easy as you clicking this button. You're like another one. Yeah.
So the example of this is because I can achieve that in meditation for me, and it's been years that I'm trying to achieve that in body. I'm still on a quest, which is beautiful by itself. It's not an automatic skill that you can replicate easily. You are still going to be on the motherfucking quest. Same thing for business, right? Why is it that there's so many athletes that can go there, but there's so many fucking athletes that act broke? You know what I mean? Or they give up in the game of business, whether they would have never gave up in the game of like the reps or what they're doing inside of the gym. Even take that further and inside a relationship, loyalty with wife and kids and growing a family. So the point that I'm making is that strength does not replicate itself automatically or easier for somebody that may have it in one area. It's still the same fucking amount of work to recreate that. It's a fucking quest. It's a journey. It's not an event.
Yeah.
To recreate that in the other area. So what can you say about like your personal experience around this, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to learn it like you're learning it and trying to seek that in the body. I'm trying to seek it in business.
Right. Okay.
And in, other aspects of my life. And, that's a key thing to take is that out of body experience that you just described. And how do you apply it to business? How do you apply it to your ability to work hard in those things, and the ability to push past walls in that, push past walls in business, in your corporate life, and all of that, in your household life,
yes,
with your wife, your kids, maybe even your parents, your family, all of that. And how do you embody that in an aspect of that? And I feel like a lot of it is getting past the ego.
Right.
I feel like the ego puts a lot of things in our way, just like you have to break that down in the gym as far as is getting past the ego of like, shit, this hurts. What does that make me look like? What does this person think of me if I stop moving, or if I slow down? And, what is the ego is putting these traps, these roadblocks in front of you that are getting you out of your own focus and the focus on what you're doing and your ability to be in a true Zen state of mind, or flow state, and it's putting you in a state of question and inquiry, and and so it's cool to see and to think about it in that way, because it's not, I don't often associate the two. And I associate the hard work, I associate the dedication, but associating that state is a cool way to think about it. And so
years ago I came across this equation. I think it was in some I think it was a meditation retreat, and it was run by this Indian dude, and he given a mathematical equation. I've always written it down. It's so fucking good as a reminder. I'm gonna share it here. It's like he says ego equals 1 on knowledge. Okay. It's like the more you have knowledge, the smaller your ego becomes. Literally, that's what it was. And the less knowledge you have, like the bigger the ego is. And so if you take that 1 on knowledge, so if you have 1,000 as a value for knowledge, 1 divided by 1,000 makes the ego pretty small. But if it's if that value equals to 1 on 1, the ego is the whole.
Yeah.
So and I can look at what you just said at the beginning of our conversation is like, hey man, it's not about just the mental mind and doing the reps. It's about how much I slept, what did I eat, what kind of knowledge that I have about my body, how do I know my body, how do I build this is not my fucking first workout. Like I know how many reps to do. There's a mathematical formula. There's a science behind this, and it's not just feeling based. There's thinking. There's what they call even like mind models, right? Like that you do it all the time in the workouts. It's like, okay, I look at the workout, I plan it, and I do it. Coach Max is always big on that. He's always big on 2 things: fucking warm-ups,
yeah,
and as well as like the mathematical calculation of your game plan, depending on who you are as an athlete or just as somebody that wants to participate in that activity. So man, this idea of a quest, right, makes it a journey for you, right? So here's the difference that this is my personal observation. There are athletes that are a journey, and there are athletes that are after events. It's 2 different mindset. an athlete on a journey is living the hero's journey.
Mm-hmm.
And an athlete for an event is looking for the recognition of titles or whatever significance that comes with those events. And look, there's nothing wrong with both, but one becomes more dedicated to this idea. I'm willing to die for it because this is my mission.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like my mission is I was put on earth to inspire others by the way I move and I compete and I just like, you
and
know,
bring others up. I
bring
feel like
others
a big thing is bringing the people that you're training with, the people around you, the people that you see on a daily basis, enriching their life and helping them to be better versions of themselves, to be the best versions of themselves. And I feel like that's the biggest thing you can do with whatever gifts you're given is make other people's lives better.
to give it away.
To give it away, yeah. So if we're able to, be something that helps another person, that's what it's about. And it's about, if in competition, I think about it like these people showed up, these people paid money to see this, these people took time out of their day to be here. We owe it to them to die here. We owe it to them to give all of ourselves to this sport, to this event, to this competition right now.
Because you have been.
Yeah.
All the time away from your wife,
Mm-hmm.
all the time away from, your family, all the time, like all the sacrifices, but yet you look at it, it's like, listen, to me, those are not sacrifices. Those are, that's part of my character, the willingness of doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, on the outside, people see that as sacrifice. Oh, this guy's sacrificed so much. It's not that I sacrifice. It's like, you talk to military guys and like, oh, thank you for your sacrifice. Well, fuck you, man. I haven't sacrificed. This is my choice. I chose to be in the front line. Same thing for an athlete that is on a journey. It's like, this is my choice to be on the front line. So I owe it to myself to fulfill and match all the effort I've put in.
Yep.
Or else there's a big fucking question. It's like, why am I here?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I here?
Yeah.
Right? Am I seeking significance through this? Maybe.
Or validation.
Or validation.
Yeah.
And I may be skilled enough and equipped enough to have that. That's not a bad feeling necessarily, bro. We all want that. We all want a feeling of significance. That's just part of a natural,
human nature.
If you deny that, you're a fucking liar.
Yeah.
That's period. So, dude, let's talk about. Okay, so we talked about that. Then talk to me about day 1, day 2, and then day 3. What happened?
Yeah, day 1, you go into the competition, or I go into the competition not knowing how it's going to go, right? Am I going to hurt myself on the first workout? Am I going to be able to get through it? Lo and behold, at the end of day 1, we're sitting in first place, going through the ring dip workout, which is a workout that I actually won. And, you go into day 2 kind of confident, being like,
You smashed day 1, right?
Yeah.
Were you number 1?
Yeah, number 1.
So what was the conversation that night between you and you? Like, what was the dialogue
nothing.
in your mind? Okay.
It was normal. So normal would be we eat, we review what went on that day, the things we could have done better, and then we prep for the next day. So we look at the events. Was
there a little bit of celebration?
The celebration happens in my head, finishing the workout, and then as soon as I come off the floor from the workout, the mindset changes to getting ready for the next piece.
Got it.
Getting ready for the next day, fueling up, looking over what we did right, what we could have improved upon, and then what events are coming up and what we need to think about for those events. What are the rep schemes going to be? What are the audibles, so to speak, going to be if this feels like this?
So scientifically, you're telling your brain, checkmate, fucking
Good job.
awesome, good job.
Yeah.
Because if you don't then you'll be betraying yourself.
Right.
And then you're like, look, man, I'm not going to really stay in this false lift.
Right.
It is a lift. I get it.
Yeah.
But we need to go for the next lift.
Exactly.
Okay.
You need to get ready for the next. So then that night we're doing walkthroughs of the competition, of the next day of the next events. Day 2 comes along, same thing. It's paint by numbers. It's what we know how to do. It's eat, sleep, prep, stretch, warm up, get ready for the event, gear on, in the chute, sweats. It's a process. It's no different than any other day or any other event. It's Groundhog Day. Yeah. It's just the same shit over again. We win the first workout. We're higher in first place. Second workout comes along. We're still sitting in day one. I think I took 4th or 5th in that workout.
Okay.
We're still sitting first overall by like a ton of points, big margin, big gap. And it's the same thing. It's prep, get ready, go. It's what did we do right? What did we do wrong? How can we improve? Here's the next pieces. Same shit. And then, you get to that point in the workout and there's a muscle up in it. And so I hadn't yet tested that dynamic pull push of the chest. And so going for the first, it felt a little weird in the warm up. I didn't do too many of them. I warmed it up as best I could, but I was like, I don't want to hurt it in the warm up. So we go in the first few reps of the competition. I believe I got like 8 or 9 in to the muscle ups, and then felt that same twinge, pull, unravel, and had a choice to make. It was, do I push it knowing that I could potentially tear it and have to do surgery? And in hindsight, looking back, I think I probably would have pushed it knowing what I do now and having experienced a few more circumstances like that with a calf, with stuff like that. I think I would have. I think I would have risked it now, but in that mindset, I decided to play it safe, to live to fight another day, realizing that this wasn't the only competition I was ever going to have, and I would rather be able to recover from that than to tear it. But
so you came off, kind of raise your hand and said,
I kept working through it because I kept trying to turn over and press, but I really wasn't trying to get through those reps. It was really the head judge coming over to me and saying, hey, if you don't keep working, we're going to have to pull you off the floor.
Oh.
And I was like, well, and then he's like, then that would disqualify you. And so I was like, well, fuck that. I'm going to act like I'm going to keep working to play the game of I don't want to get disqualified. I'm in first by so many points. I can take a really bad score here
on this
and
particular
still
workout.
Qualify for the games, for the world championships, which is the ultimate goal. And so I kind of half-ass went through it to try to make it look like, hey, I'm still working. Don't pull me off. And then once they did end the event, they informed me like, I thought, okay, I'll take a bad score there, and I think the last workout obviously I can still get through with strained pec. And they said, oh, you didn't complete the minimum work requirement to continue on in the competition.
Were you aware of that minimum? Did they ever made you aware of that minimum?
They talked about it. They talk about them in the briefings. I didn't pay much attention to it because
you smoked that anyway, right?
Yeah, I've never been in a position to not make a minimum work requirement. So it's not something that I had in my mind when that was happening.
So there was a level of frustration there too. It's like, fuck, man, what are you doing?
Frustration with that. Frustration with, there's lots of things in CrossFit that are worth being frustrated about. As a new sport, as a developing sport, there are things they're going to do wrong, things they're going to do right.
Sure.
And, that is definitely one of them. But, so I got disqualified from that event. So basically took me out.
How many workouts were left?
One more after that.
One more? Just one more?
Yeah.
And do you know what it was?
Yeah, it was 30 calories on the bike, assault bike, 20 burpee box jump overs, and then 10 sandbag cleans with the
Nothing to do with your picks.
No, I could have gone through that.
You could have smashed that.
Yeah.
And you would have won.
I probably would have taken second or third just because that score would have been so low from the muscle up.
That really hurt you?
Yeah, but I still would have qualified for the games.
Oh, qualified for the game.
Yeah.
So then when they brought this little detail, it's like one of those fine little detail prints that you miss in a fucking, whatever contracts.
Yeah.
Was there any state of like, what the fuck? Were you fighting it, or you just kind of like, fuck, man?
Yeah, I mean, I was fighting it. I was trying to be able to petition to be able to keep going. But they ultimately made, the final decision on what they would allow and what they wouldn't. I feel like since that moment, I've been kind of fueled by that desire to be at that state again.
Yeah.
And pissed off by that
detailed.
Yeah, that slight and I feel like CrossFit as an organization, is pretty petty in some ways. and it kind of just fuels my like fire for
My
competition.
problem in all this, right?
Yeah.
CrossFit or not, I don't give a fuck.
Mhm.
It's the following: is that they did that to the number one dominating athlete.
Yeah.
Right, of the event. So it's not like they've done it to some guy that was number 76 and it's like, listen, man, you didn't meet the minimum, so at this point we need to filter and work harder and come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they applied that little amount of details that was totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
Because the third part of it was like, listen, minimum doesn't matter to you. You just sucked ass on that one for whatever personal reason, right? Did you tell them that it was injured or anything like that? Okay.
Yeah, they knew it was injured. They knew they had medical staff taking a look at it. They did all kinds of.
But that's
stuff
my
with
problem. There's no measurement of the heart. There's no measurement of the willingness. That like as if that is not calculated inside of the game.
Right. It wasn't like the minimum work requirements are set up to say, to basically weed out the people that shouldn't be there.
Right. That's
which
my point.
Which wasn't the issue here,
At
obviously, because of how I was performing, who I am in the space. And
If it truly feels like when you call Walmart and the customer service and they give you the answer, well, sir, if I do it to you, I have to do it for everyone.
Exactly.
Like, fuck you, man. That's not situational.
yeah, exactly.
That's like one generic line that some clerk is saying, right? So I feel like there was no human touch into that. And when you actually take the word judge doesn't mean a fucking worker in Philippines that does from A to B and doesn't do C, D, E, F, and doesn't, you know what I mean? It's not a robot. A judge actually requires a judgment.
Yes. A call, yeah.
Don't fucking call it a judge. Then call it a clerk.
Yeah, exactly.
Or customer service.
Yeah.
Right? Like a judge means, number one, you have the authority to judge. Number two, you have the right to overrule.
Well, I think that's an issue with the sport is that the judges are volunteers. The judges are not paid. The judges are fans, technically.
Right.
So imagine if you had, imagine for a second that football referees or the NBA referees were not
Fans.
paid. They were people they took out of before the game. They said, 2 weeks before the NBA championships, they said, all right, guys, put in your applications. You're going to apply to be a ref on the floor during the NBA championships. And you have all these fans that are, a big LeBron fan or a big Kobe fan or a big Steph Curry fan. And they're like, oh, I want to be a judge and I want to ref the game. And they show up there and they get picked and they come out and they're in charge of making a decision about the outcome of that game.
Dude,
that's essentially what we're dealing with.
If you're
going to
build a sport league,
That's what we're doing.
invest into the ref. Don't be a fucking cheap ass, right?
Yeah.
It's not. You want volunteers, great. The guy that with the hot dogs and the soda, or the guys like helping out with massages and cleaning and all that shit. All those people can be volunteer. Fuck, I'll volunteer for that.
bringing bars off the floor, whatever.
Yeah, why not, man? But judges, invest in them. Put athletes as judges. Put best retired athletes
or educated.
Yeah. Fuck. You have so many people with a bachelor's and degree. Why you don't put those people? Put passionate people as judges and pay them. The game will, because it's not fair to the athlete that puts the time of his life, puts his body through so many injuries, wife, kids, businesses, spiritual, like you put all that in, you're all in. That all in has to be matched.
Right, with the same level from the organization or from the sport. Yeah.
So, okay, man, lots to take away. And I feel, as a witness, once again, I feel that fueled you and that built part of your character. Max and I talked about that, on Saturdays when we do weightlifting, say, fuck, I was expressing the same amount of frustration. And like, the conversation was like, this is forging Christian's character, like to even want this, to even further fucking want to die for this and working harder. And you went back at it, worked hard, and and it's very similar situation happened in the opens once again for you. With the fucking cleans, right?
The wall balls.
Was it a wall was?
Yeah, it was wall balls.
Yeah, wall was the okay. So wall was, but before that,
you're just trying to make me mad on this podcast.
Yeah, no. I'm not, I was going to talk about the cleans. There was a situation when you got injured, right?
Oh yeah.
And you pushed through this time.
So yeah, I felt.
So can you talk about that one?
Yeah. So the cleans, it was like pistol, box jump, clean, and the clean was ascending.
Right.
And so we were at the heaviest weight of the of that workout. It was a 315 clean and jerk. You had like 5 of them. I go for my first rep and I catch in a power position, but I was a little bit far back on the heels and felt as I stood up, felt my adductor like pull, like the same feeling of like a strain and a pull. And maybe not quite as bad as it hurt though. I don't fucking know. And but so I made that rep not knowing like, shit, this might be the only rep I get, so I got to make it. And then I dropped the weight. I was thinking, I was like, shit, I just strained my adductor. I know what a pull, I know what a strain feels like. What's going to happen if I keep going? And I was put in the same mindset of where I was fucking really literally right back on that regional floor. I was literally right back in 2 weeks ago. Before that, I strained my calf at the very end of a fucking 20-minute AMRAP. Yeah. And I decided to like rest it and then try it again on Monday. And I didn't do as well on Monday as I wanted to. And I was like, shit, I should have kept going. So 2 instances in the past where I told myself I should have kept going, in hindsight, looking back. Now the 3rd time it happens, I go, fuck that. Like, I'm willing to die here for these reps. And it's not a matter of, is this moment big enough for me to die for? I think that's where my mindset changed. As before I had the mindset, I'm willing to die here. I'm willing to prove that, I'm number one. I'm here to win. And in the past, it had been like, I had that mindset, but it was, okay, what is this moment? Is this moment worth that for longevity for that? And that, I feel like, changed when that happened. And it changed to fuck the moment, fuck how big it is. Whether how big or small it is, I'm willing to die here, even though it's not the biggest moment of my career, even though there's not hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of people watching, even though this isn't the end all be all, I'm still willing to die here because I'm not going to go through that again. I'm not going to walk away from here and kick myself because I know I should have kept going.
Right.
So I kept going. It hurt. I didn't know if this rep was going to be my last rep, if I was going to, tear it or, but I was like, I'm going to go through it to the best of my ability with everything I have, attack it, get through it, and look back on it and say, that was that. I don't regret stopping.
And that was the moment so far. So if you look at it, that is not a moment. That is a moment of fate. That's exactly what it is, because that's the outer body experience, and that's the wall. That's yet another wall. It is a brand new fucking wall that you smash through, because you've been in front of this wall, and the mind pulled you back, and it needed to do that for you to be able to find the courage to actually step in to what we call the mission to the fucking unknown. So the reality is this, right? And this is a fact in every single aspects of our life. We get to a point where we have to make a decision between what our minds tell us and what we know, because what we know is safe. Although what we know is safe, and it may be miserable, in this case, miserable to miss the numbers, miserable to be disqualified, sucks ass not to be part of it. In the case of someone that is constantly not allowing them to grow himself, just go back and being in this place, this fucking pit, which is cold. They know it's dirty. They know it's sad, but it's like, at least, I'm safe because my mind is telling me. Or literally to say, I'm willing to step into the unknown. The mind doesn't like the unknown because there's no calculated risk. It knows the risk. It knows it sucks ass, but it sucks really ass, but it's safe.
Yeah.
Right. But the unknown is not safe. And this is a very good example. The unknown is, man, I may lose my leg forever. I may lose my chest. I may go surgery. Like, all these are the unknown. And this is not a matter of, a lot of people, this is insanity. You're going to hurt yourself. No, because you don't understand the out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
This is a moment of fucking fate. I'm not, like, literally when you choose to become, like, it's the I am at that point, is the witness that it says, okay, you're bigger than this body.
Yeah.
Like, this is your vehicle, and there's more into it.
Just your meat wagon.
There's more into it.
Yeah.
So become. Right? It's the becoming moment.
Yeah.
And in that moment, when, dude, that wall that you broke, because Max and I talked about this, I said, bro, the wall that he broke is going to change him forever, because now it's, dude, that has elevated you in a whole different
But now that's
fucking
where
level.
I go every day. That's where you go.
That's where you went like 45 minutes ago.
Yeah. So that's where you go every time you train now. You get to that point of, you know, what if, I don't know what's on the other side of this rep. You know, it feels like shit. It feels like ass. But if I slow down, if I stop, I know what to expect. But what if I keep going? What if I do it again? What if I push it even more? What if I take that next step? What if I say, fuck it, I'm willing to die here every day? What if every day the moment doesn't matter, the size of the moment doesn't matter, but you put yourself in a moment where you say, I'm willing to die. I don't care what is on the other side of this.
Right. The mission to the unknown, literally.
Yeah.
And that's the highest level of athleticism, right? For an athlete to be able to teach that, number one, they have to experience it, right? And they have to experience it in a ways that is daily. It's not, oh, I got it once.
Yeah.
Like you, right? But imagine a guy that at that level, and we talked about this, it doesn't fucking matter what age you are. It's the age of your work that matters, not the age of your physical body. So imagine you're here elevated at this point. And now look at the waterfall effect of teaching that can take place. From all the way down to teaching someone how to actually, you know, example, like lift a barbell or twister. Those are the mechanics of the game, right? And there's so many levels. But it all comes down, like it starts from the toes.
Yeah.
You master all the mechanics, and it finishes right in the hair in the crown.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go, man.
Yeah.
Like from here, there's no more techniques.
Right.
Like from here, it's about like connecting, and it's that like, okay, like literally, I'm going to be in that out of body mind. You're out of the body from this fucking place.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited, man, for what's coming ahead, and because if it wasn't for these past couple of years of walls after, like truly, it wasn't physical walls that were. You broke the physical walls way before. These are like, dude, these are like mind walls that are opening one, and I feel as an observer that is opening, and that's what inspiring. That's what qualifies to sit on its fucking chair, right? That's why I see you as a hero, because it's the hero's journey. You can witness that happening. And so when you can witness that, that's true inspiration. It's not some fucking guy lifting some weights on YouTube, although some of these guys are pretty impressive with the fucking weight that they lift. But that's awesome, right? That fuels the possibility. But to be a witness of someone's journey, that's why you're able to pick. That's why you picked up your friend Rodney, because Rodney, was it his name? The guy that came into your podcast last time.
Yeah, Rudy.
Yeah. That's why you picked him up, because you've been a witness to his journey.
Yes.
You know, for a long time, man, and like you've seen this guy's progress and the ability. Like you admire him today as you admired him back in the days.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so they're not idols.
Right.
They're just local heroes.
Yeah.
Right. And if we pick our local heroes, and even like, you know, your local hero in church, your local hero in your spirituality, your local hero in a book that invites you to find more about yourself.
In business,
and
anything.
dude, I make an effort. I often, like, I've made my couple of heroes that I picked up in my books in business. I've made an effort to reach out to them, to go see their conferences, shake their hands. And believe it or not, I've become very close friends with one or two, just like you and I are, because I choose my heroes, right? So I become like the guy that says, I'm on the quest.
Yeah.
So like, okay, I'm on the quest. And if I want to be in a local relationship with this person, I can, because I choose to.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was the whole point of this fucking podcast.
Yeah, that just speaks to where you're going and the ability to see that and, you know, take it all in from all those aspects.
Right.
Because you have to be able to understand and recognize you don't have all the answers. You have to accept that you have more to grow in. And I feel like that's a big piece that a lot of people are missing, is that acceptance of, I don't have all the answers. I need more to keep growing. And I'm not the smartest, best at everything person in the world. I have to learn and pick up and elevate people and teach what I'm learning and be humbled by what I don't know.
By associating to your local heroes, you get to live as a hero, because you get to share those feelings. when I see you going through that,
Mm-hmm.
although I don't have it, but I get to witness that, dude, that's a moment I can borrow from and I can live,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't hope for that to come. As a witness, I fucking see it, and I'm shared in that field of fucking feelings. And we do that across all areas of our lives. It just fulfill us. People think this happiness is this fucking event that you got to get to. Bro, happiness is just a pursuit.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you is like, what the fuck are you doing to be on that pursuit?
Yeah.
What kind of local hero are you creating in your field, in your proximity? Although this COVID-19 has fucked all that up, but still, you can create people.
You still can, yeah.
You can still create people in your proximity, man. Pick up the fucking phone,
Yeah.
right? Or do what you need to create the power of proximity. Nothing is going to take that away. You start moving away from the power of proximity, bro, you are fucked. In that place, you are alone. And in that, when we're alone, we're just weak, sad,
Yeah.
weak and
And
sad.
I like how you said the pursuit. The happiness is the pursuit, because we have this mindset or this ideology that the pursuit is happiness. There's a fucking movie about it.
Yeah.
But the happiness is the pursuit. The pursuit is not, oh, I'm pursuing happiness. I'm trying to get to this point of elation and happiness. It's like, no, this pursuit is happiness. I don't know about you, but the highest, happiest, most elated I feel is after a hard day's work of just grinding and knowing I did everything in my power that day to better myself, better other people, share and spread, and all of those things.
100%.
It's not about
That's the state that you're talking about. It's
Yeah.
called joy.
yeah.
Like you and I have a smile on our face,
Mhm.
and like, oh shit, that motherfucker's doing a snatch.
Mhm.
I remember that motherfucker like couldn't even lift a bar.
Mhm.
Now look at that form. Like it's like it's the recognition of the impact without the glory, right?
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
just a silent fucking smile, and
Yeah.
close your eyes and you go to bed right away.
Yeah, exactly. So
So,
that's good.
Dude, great to be on the show.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Final takeaway, like, listen, man, if there's a dude sitting right now,
Yeah.
and is hearing your voice and like you're about to take a fucking like arrow and just pierce it in his heart, and just make an impact.
Mhm.
Athlete, spiritual man, married,
Anything.
business, anything, whatever message that comes to your head, to your heart. What would that message be for one of our audience, man?
Just to be, I mean, my favorite thing that I've been meditating on, thinking on, and trying to convey with people is the thing that helped me the most is just to stay obsessed with whatever you are doing. And it's not going to be popular. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be, you're going to get made fun. I remember in fucking like high school growing up, I would, instead of going to parties, I would fucking go run and go to the gym, and I'd be at the gym and I would be training, getting ready for the sport, the competition, or, just in there bettering my body, my mind. I chose that over going to a house party or going to hang out with friends at the beach. I chose that. And, people would make fun of it. People would be like, oh, look, there he is doing, training again, working out, whatever it might be. And it's because of that obsession with, of being the best version of myself I could be, being able to offer the best thing that I had to a sport, to a circumstance, to a moment. And I would say that that thing is just to find that thing that drives you, that you find the passion, the drive, the willingness, you find you have a talent for, or whatever it is, and just to stay obsessed with it. Be obsessed with it and be okay with it not being cool. Be okay with it not being popular, or it not being the coolest thing to do, and be okay with not getting recognized for it. Be okay with not getting accolades for it. Be okay with, if you were to do this hard your whole life, still being happy, going to bed, knowing that you put it all into that. And you didn't need a trophy. You didn't need a check. You didn't need X, Y, and Z to validate it. It's that journey and that pursuit and that obsession and that mindset, I would say, is that. And stay in that mindset, whatever it is. If you like to fucking, knit fucking scarves or whatever, you like to make whatever, you like to publish books or write books, or what if it's athletic, if it's business, if it's making money, even fuck whatever it is. Be obsessed with it to the point that you can't be denied. You know that those things are going to come, but you're not doing it for those things. You're doing it for the simple joy of going to bed knowing I pursued it to the best of my ability today.
Beautiful. And so in a summary, in a warrior's way, basically your fucking pillow is a liar. It's a liar at night because it's telling you shouldn't sleep and you should be stressed and blah, 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 blah. And it's a liar in the fucking morning because it's telling you, hey, man, you can sleep a little bit more. So fuck you, pillow. Gentlemen, thanks for listening to us. I want to thank my guest.
Thank you, man.
Lucero, to be here. And listen, man, if this podcast conversation inside of this has resonated with you and somewhere, somehow you felt that inside of your heart, something has moved. You know, our podcast is not the most popular one, and maybe one day it'll be. But until then, just take the message and forward it to someone, just another man, that you may know in your life that could benefit from this. This is how you pay it forward. So we look forward to seeing you, gentlemen, on our next podcast. Again, thanks for being here. We'll have you on many more.
Yes, sir.
Until then, take care of yourself and each other.